Welcome to the Luminous Antares Diagnostic System Training Program. Today we are going to look at the Antares system, which comprises a topographer together with a Meibomian imaging system, as well as a tear analysis system. We'll go through the whole system together and you'll learn what we can do with the system. All the tests that we are going to be performing today can be done in conjunction with any products that you're going to be using to reduce the effect of the Meibomian gland dysfunction. And what happens is that we can take these as a baseline test, and then we can see the improvement over time after treatment for the Meibomian gland dysfunction. So all the tests that we're going to be performing today can be used in this way and should be used in this way to show the patient the benefit of the actual treatment that they are going to go through for the Meibomian gland dysfunction. What we'll look at first is we're going to look at the Phoenix program, and we'll look at the different options and the various things that we can do with the program, and the interconnectivity that we can have with this program, what it will be able to be utilized within your offices. So without any more, let's get started straight into the program. When we look at the interface for the Phoenix program, we can see we have a settings button, info button. The info button will tell us about the program, the version that it is. We then have three buttons over here. So the first button is going to be to populate the patient list. The second button, we can remove the patient list if we want to have some form of that other patients won't see people's names. And we have a third button, which is an exam search button. This is an advanced search that will allow us to be able to look for specific problems or specific people that we want to do if we're doing a research or we're going to be doing a lecture. We can go into this and we can look for specific case studies that we've done before. We can search either on the patient's surname or on an identification code. So this is up to you. You can choose how to do it. The way we're going to look at it is if we populate this list over here, we can see that we've now got an extra button that is available to us, which is the first button is create a new patient. The second button is going to be to create a new exam. We suggest always that whenever we redo a patient, even if it's within an hour's difference, that we will click on this button, as we will have a timestamp on the folder and we will be able to know which exam was done first and which was done second. The other two buttons here is a refraction button. We are able to put in the patient's refraction data, and over here is an acquire button. The acquire button will allow us to do another exam if we find immediately that for some reason we didn't get the results that we were looking for. We can go directly into the acquire and it will fit into the same timestamp that we did earlier. So if we're going to look at the different functions that we've got on the opening, we've got our OD window, we've got an OS window. We've also got buttons over here that will allow us, after we have an image, we'll be able to tag the image. We'll be able to say if it's a normal or if it's keratoconus or it's post-operative. We'll be able to put on different tags which will help us when we go into the advanced search. So why don't we get started, and basically when a patient will come in, we're going to start off straight away. We're going to create a new patient and we're going to go into the patient's surname. So we'll do test, we'll do the surname, we'll put in a birth date of this patient. We don't have to use 19 for before. If a patient's more than 20 years old, it'll do it automatically. And we can choose male or female, and then we're going to put in an ID code. So we'll do a simple code for now. We can do whatever we want to use. You can, in your office, you can use your office codes or the patient's ID, or we're going to use something very simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and click OK. Once we've done that, we can see that all these buttons are now alive. We can click on any of them if we really had to, but first we're going to concentrate on this window over here, which is our window that we're going to choose what exam to do. So the first icon that we come to is to do a topography. The second icon is going to be the pupillography. The third icon allows us to do a small video or images, and we'll discuss what we can do that. This icon over here is the mobographer. We're able to use the program because of the infrared camera and light that we use within the system. We're able to actually image the meibomian glands themselves, and this allows us to grade the meibomian glands. And this is a great help, especially when we're going to be dealing with people that have a problem with dry eye. And the last icon is a tear analysis. This is a non-invasive breakup time analysis. It's done fully computerized and is very easy to do and very repeatable. It's something that is very it's objective. Nobody's taking part in it, so we have a very reliable result with this. We can always escape if we don't want to do something. So what we're going to do now is we're going to discuss the actual device and how the device works. And the device is a Placido-based topographer using an infrared camera. What we were able to do with this is it is a purely anterior segment corneal topographer, so we don't get any information, not of corneal thickness and not of the posterior side of the cornea. And why don't we look at the actual device itself? And this is the device in front of us. If I switch it, click on this icon, we're going to see that automatically we're going to get the Placido discs are going to light up, and hopefully you can see the Placido discs lighting up now. And what we'll do is we're going to take a patient and we're going to do an actual topography. I will show you the method of doing a capture. The method of doing a capture, we're going to discuss it now, and then we'll do it in real time with a patient. What we have to do is we have to use the joystick to center on the patient's cornea. We're going to get a reflex off the cornea, a little dot, and we're going to have a centering cross. Our task will be to align these two together, that the dot will be in the center of the cross. And then we're going to bring the actual topographer slightly back out of focus. We're going to click once on the joystick, and then we're going to move forward. And we're going to try and move forward without going sideways. So if you look, I use one hand over here, which is going to be used as a stabilizer, and the other hand is on the joystick. I always try to have the joystick as straight as possible, as this gives us a straight trajectory. We won't go and do any slaloming. We're not on the ski slopes at the moment. So at the moment, what we'll do is we're going to go from slightly out of focus, into focus, and then out of focus again. The system will take 25 frames a second, and it will choose automatically the frame that is the most focused. And that is how it will work. So we don't have to think that we're in focus, we're not in focus. The system knows how to do it. It uses a lot of artificial intelligence, and it is able to capture the image that will be most representative. In the beginning, we suggest to take 3 images and of each eye. It will recognize the eyes automatically from left eye and right eye, so we don't have a problem with that either. And I suggest that we get started on an actual patient. Here we have a patient, and what we're going to do is the patient can put their hands on these grips, kind of like the Harley-Davidson grips, and we're going to ask the patient to put the chin inside, and very, very importantly, that the patient presses their forehead against the forehead grip. on the side that I have got here, there is a line that I'm going to try to line up the canthus of the eye with this particular line, and that will give us the ability to be able to have the correct movement for the machine. And we're adjusting the chin rest with this control on the side. What we have to do now is we're going to be using the monitor, and we're going to see that we have an image on the monitor. Could you please open your eyes wide? Oh, that's much better, thank you. What we're going to be doing now is we've aligned the center of the cornea, the reflex dot and the plus. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go slightly out of focus, but keep the height correct. And Liz, if you could just please open your eyes wide, and that will be great. Okay, you've blinked. Blink one more time, and open wide, 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 wide. Out of focus. One click, and we're going to go backwards, and we're going to go forward, 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 and we have an image that has been captured automatically. We're going to do this 3 times. So let's look straight in front of you, blink before we do the acquisition, and we're going to go a little bit in reverse to get a little bit of out of focus. Open wide, 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 thank you. And we're going to go forward, 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 forward until we get the actual capture. Once we've done the right eye, we're going to be moving across to the left eye. We're going to basically just repeat the process. We're going to ask the patient, after we've lined everything up, to be able to blink. Okay, so blink please, and open wide, 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 wide. You'll notice that I talk to the patient, that's great, keep it up, that's perfect. And we're going to do another one to try to allow the patient blink before we do it. And we're going to click and keep your eyes open wide, wide, wide. That's great, you're doing fantastic, wow, excellent. Okay, what we've done now is we've got 4 images. Okay, we've got 2 on the right eye, 2 on the left eye. And we're going to tell the patient to relax. The patient can go back and doesn't have to be in the actual view. And what we're going to do now is we're going to exit through the door. Okay, it's a very good program, has doors to exit through. Automatically we're going to find that we're going to populate the right eye and the left eye is going to be populated automatically. When we look at the images here, we've got information that we can put on. Okay, once we know what type of group it is, we can choose whatever group we would like to classify this patient: keratitis, keratoconus, a normal eye, plus pellucida. If a group is not mentioned here, we can click on new group, and then we can actually type in another group that we want to put in. So that's very easy to do, and then you'll just click on the V button and that will add that group. So let's look at what we've got. We've got 2 images that we took of the right eye. We have 2 images that we took of the left eye. And on the interface, we've got a bar. So we have a filter bar where we can have images, reports, frames, lenses, mosaics. This will be left on images for this product. Over here, we've got where we can put in all these different types of groups. So let's say we're going to choose that this is a normal eye. If we wanted the same group on the left eye, we can basically copy to OS and it will copy automatically. If, however, this group on the left eye is not the same, let's say that this patient has a pellucida, we could change the left eye to be pellucida. So we do not have to have the same group for both eyes, because very seldom do we have that in reality. So what we're going to be doing is we have 2 images. We're going to look at the 2 images, and I prefer this particular image. If we do a double click, it's going to give us the ring pupil limbus editing. Normally there's no need to do any editing over here, and we can simply click OK. Okay, what we're going to have a look at quickly is we're going to look at what type of settings we have. It's very important to know that we have a language option where we can choose different languages. And we can see we've got Chinese, German, English, Italian, French, Spanish, Netherlands, and Portuguese, which is good for Brazil as well. Then we have the instrument, and here we can see the different products that are available on this particular instrument. This is all going to be set up by the technician, so you don't have to worry about it. Here we have groups, and we can always add to the groups, and we've shown how to do that on the actual instrument itself. We also have a database. We can set the database up wherever we wish to have it. We don't have to necessarily have it on the local computer. If you have a server and you would like to put the database onto your server, you're able to do it. With this button over here, we're able to change the path for the database and for the image route, and you'll be able to put the database in a secure location. We have a backup, which is a backup of the database if something would happen to it, and you can put this backup also in another place. Then what we're going to be looking at here, the inheritance by previous exam, is groups and refraction. Performance is, normally we wouldn't have more than 1,000 people being shown at a time because it will slow down the computer. Doesn't mean that it can't take more than 1,000 people, it's just that that is what is going to be displayed. The miscellaneous, this is an interesting option, that we have a patient management system. If we're running it on the local computer and we wish to be able to put in our own ID, we need to take the V out from here. And once we take it out, then we are autonomous. However, there are people that are going to be able to connect this into their local PMS. And it's not going to work on every PMS, but it might work on the PMS that you have in your office, and you can certainly check that out. In which case you won't have to type in all the patient information, you'll be able to automatically import the patients. The study management, we can do the show description, local workstation. Most of these are the reminders on application closing. Some people don't like the reminders, in which case you can basically take them out. But this is going to be for your option. Once the program is set up in a hospital environment, we've got DICOM, and we are fully DICOM compatible. So there's no problem in running DICOM, and you'll just get the hospital IT people to set up the actual PACS and the PMS, and you'll be able to have this on DICOM. Activations is not something that you're going to have to worry about because it's the license for the product, and it is licensed already. And Schwind, as we said earlier, is when they connect it to the eczema laser of Schwind. So what we've done here is we've had a quick overlook at these settings, and very easy to use them. While we're here, I'm going to look at the exam search. This is the big exam search. We can go to instrument, and then we can choose the instrument. So we're going to be choosing a keratoscope. If we were doing mammography, we could choose a mammography or pupillography, whatever option. But we could choose groups, and we could choose whichever group that we want to look for. Let's see if there's somebody with keratoconus. We've also got an exam date, a birth date, accession number, ID code, a gender, patient's age. So basically we have a very, very advanced search engine that will really look for these specific people, and we can see that automatically it located, because we had put in keratoconus, it found one patient that has keratoconus, and we can see all the results for that over here. We have an export system as well. The export system is going to give us an XYZ or a CSV file. This is basically when we're looking at a lot of exams and we want to get a statistical analysis. We can also export the current indexes as a Excel file. Most people would do it as an XYZ file. What we're able to do with the system, when we're looking at the top over here to get the overview, we've got the original screen we're going to then be able to go to different screens. And if we want to print, okay, and printing, when we say printing, we mean two things. We can export it in three ways. We can do a print screen, and on the print screen we can have the details of the image, and we can choose what information we want to have it. And here we have an option of a PDF or a print. So we can actually create a PDF document which will allow us to send it by email or on a disk on key to give it to a patient. We can see from the actual page that is going to be sent that we have the patient's information and the name. We're also able to put in a practice name. So this is going to be very important, that you want your practice name to be included on the information. You are able to attach a logo, but the logo must be a JPEG image that can be set as a logo, and this will come up on the actual page as well. So when we're looking here, we'll have on the right hand side is the patient information, on the left hand side will be the practice information. The information at the bottom of the image that you're going to be printing or sending can be, you can change using these controls, you can change what information is going to be sent. Now it's very important that the system can also be set up with a review station, and the review station is a fully functional review station, and you can set this up in the doctor's office so that the doctor doesn't have to physically get up to go and look at an image. They can basically sit at their desk and look at it. It's going to be set up via the network in the office. And the most important part about setting up that particular system is going to be that you're going to want to be able to see the same database. And to see the same database, we're going to go into settings, database, and through the network, we're going to use the same path, whichever path you have put the database and the image route. And therefore the program that is running as a review station will be connected to the same database. It's very easy to do. Any IT person will be able to do it. Most doctors will be able to do it by themselves. So what we've done so far is we've looked at the actual topography and how to do the test. We will go back in depth just now on another video to show you how to look at the results. We're going to still be doing the pupillometer, the video, the mammography, and the BUT. And each one of those will be a separate segment dedicated to each of those specific tests. So that brings us to an end for this general overview of the product. Thank you very much for your attention.